Hey guys, it's your spiritual big brother here. I just want to kind of come into this. I'm now editing this video, and I just want for anybody that's here, just so they can understand the contrast here. If you're here just for that ChatGPT conversation about my father, skip ahead to about 5 minutes. Check the timestamps, but roughly about 5 minutes in is when I kind of get started on that, and it's heartfelt and it's good and it's honest. But the beginning of this, I kind of discuss how I use ChatGPT, how I feel about AI, and that kind of stuff. So that's kind of just bonus content there. You're free to hang around and listen to that if you'd like, but otherwise, just skip ahead. That's kind of where I'm gearing this video towards, anyways, is towards the ChatGPT conversation I had about my father. So check that out.
Hey everyone, I'm going to kick right off into this one. This is going to be a conversation that I had with ChatGPT, and it's in regard to my father. So, yeah, so we'll probably jump right into it. But before I kind of get there, I just want to kind of clarify some things so people can kind of understand why I share these and how I use ChatGPT, because I think it's important to kind of explain that, especially today with AI kind of taking over, and the way that people use things as well. There's let me say it to this way. I'll tell you how I use it, and then in doing so, you're going to understand what the opposition is of that, I would think. But I like to use AI as a creative tool. But it's not an exchange for me being the creative person. I'm the one that's behind here. I'm the one that's directing AI to do it the way that I want to do it. That's kind of the human creative curiosity, innovation, invention, ingenuity, whatever you want to call it. So I'm not trying to replace that. I think a lot of people lean on AI too much. I think that they try to use it so that they can just get content without actually using their brains, much. There's an extent, yeah, you can argue that, yeah, some person typing on a computer and putting all that in, but I think some people lean on it way too much. And I think that the real creation process should really start with you. And, it should be you directing AI, not the other way around. AI shouldn't be telling you what to do. You should be telling AI what to do. And I think that there's a line to be drawn there. I won't go in all the details, but I will say this much. As discretion for all my pieces moving forward, I'll probably say this more than once. If I use AI, I'll usually tell you guys, or I'll put it in my description. So, look around, and I guarantee you I'd never hide that kind of stuff. But I will say that when I do my open notebooks, I do that with no use of AI. That is me capturing my thoughts raw. That is me jotting them down on paper. And that is me then discussing them with you out loud. I share the thought, and then I expand on a little bit. What was I thinking about? Why did I say that? That's kind of the stuff. So that's my open notebooks. They're all raw. Check those out if you want to know what my voice is really like without any type of modification. And you're going to actually see that it's going to be almost the same as whatever I do with AI. AI just kind of helps me out with some of the structuring and stuff like that. I'm actually good at that, but it's like it saves me some time. And I always go back over anything that I throw into what I like to call the blender when I put it into AI. I'll always go back over that. I will reread it. I will fix whatever I don't think is right, or like where it takes my voice away, or where I was going with something. I'm very particular in the way that I use it. I use it as a tool. It's like a carpenter uses a hammer. That's how I like to look at AI. Okay, but let me not hammer that home too much. This one is going to be about me sharing a conversation that I had with ChatGPT. And it's good. It's a little bit heartfelt, and I didn't fix any of my errors or anything like that, so we're going to fix them as we go. But let's get started. I don't want to hold us back anymore here. Let me share the thought, and I think that's all I'm going to do. Maybe talk about it a little bit at the end, but let me just share the conversation that I had, and then we'll go from there. Yeah, this is the first time I'm doing this one with the ChatGPT in this format. So if you guys like it, Let me know. If you guys have stories of your own or this reminds you guys of something, feel free to get in the comments. That's what this is all about. I'm doing this, you know, I already did this for me. This did some healing for me. So I'm hoping that this will help you guys out too. So let me know if it does help you so I can continue to do this for you guys. Because this does take some effort on my part to put this together, to talk about it. I mean, this is deep stuff for me. So it's like, I'm sharing that with you. Okay, let's get started. So this is what I said. One hole of grieving that I can't seem to fill is the love I had for my father that flows so easily through me in the world now after he's gone. I said it in many ways and through writings that I gave him as gifts that he loved, but expression wasn't his thing necessarily. But it was my thing, and I never knew how to do that. But I do it with my brother and sister and mother and the rest of the world, and I wish I gave that to him more while he was alive and really made him feel it directly in my presence and all my heart, like I've learned how to do. I know he loved me very much, and I know he probably got a full tank of that raising me and seeing who I was. But I wish there were more real embraces, and that has a hole left in my heart that I'm not sure can ever be filled. But I can be dramatic, and I'm sure it's not as bad as I thought it was. But I think it's the times where I said no, but in the back of my head, I'd say something like, I know I'll regret this when he's gone. That seems to stick with me more than the other stuff. And that's hard sometimes, since I've fully matured into my presence, into my own presence and love. And I wish I could share that with him in the flesh. So that's what I said. Now, ChatGPT. I'm talking too fast. Let me slow down. This is ChatGPT's response. What you're describing isn't drama at all. It's grief maturing alongside you. And that's one of the hardest forms it takes. There's a very specific ache in realizing you grew into a deeper, freer expression of love after the person who shaped you most was gone. That doesn't mean you failed him. It means your love outgrew its original container. A few things matter here deeply. 1, love is not only measured by expression. Your father may not have been fluent in expression, but that doesn't mean he didn't receive yours. You gave him writings he loved. You showed him who you were becoming. For many fathers, watching their child stand upright in the world is the embrace. That was the full tank. The regret sticks because it's attached to awareness, not neglect. Those moments where you said no, but thought I'll regret this when he's gone hurt because you knew love mattered. You felt time was finite and you were still human, tired, busy, becoming. That doesn't make those moments a verdict on your love. It makes them evidence of it. The hole you feel isn't absence. It's overflow with nowhere to land. You didn't lose the love you had for your father. You expanded it. That's why it flows so easily now. To your mother, your siblings, the world. That current didn't start after he passed. It started with him. He was the source that trained your heart how to move. Wanting to give him this version of you means the bond is still alive. Grief isn't just missing someone. Sometimes it's missing the conversation that growth would have made possible. And here's something gentle but true. The man who raised you doesn't stop knowing you just because the timeline ends. Whether someone believes that spiritually, emotionally, or symbolically, what matters is this. Your love didn't arrive too late. It arrived because of him. If you want something grounding to carry with you, try this. Not as a ritual, just as a truth. The love I give now is the love he helped me learn how to give. That doesn't fill the hole completely. Some holes aren't meant to be filled. They're meant to become wells. Deep places other people get to drink from. And if you ever want, we can talk about ways to speak to him now that don't require pretending. He's physically here because expression is still your language. And it doesn't lose meaning just because the listener is beyond reach. You loved him, he knew, and the man you are now is part of the answer you wish you'd given him, or wish you'd given them. This is what I said. I appreciate that. In using your language and mine, I'll carry this on with me to remind me of just what you said in a way that fits. He helped me build my well. My well of love, without him, I don't think it would have been this deep. Wish he was here to see the final product and I could hug him with what the well's filled with now. He deserved that so much. I was about ready to tear up there for a second. I'm going to hold it together. I want to get through this for you guys, but you know, this gets emotional for me because I'm reliving this again. Okay, this is what ChatGPT said. That's a beautiful way to hold it, and it's true in a way that isn't poetic fluff, but structural. Structural. Saying it too fast. He didn't just give you love. He gave you the conditions that allowed love to go deep. Wells aren't dug in a day. They are shaped by pressure, time, repetition, and the kind of steadiness that doesn't announce itself. That's very often a father's work. Quiet, foundational, easy to overlook until the water finally comes. Wanting him to see the final product makes sense. But here's the gentle reframe that matters. He never expected a final product. He expected a continuation. Most good fathers don't raise sons so they can admire the end result. They raise them so something outlasts them. The well being deep enough to serve others is the success condition, not the applause moment. And the hug you wish you can give him, the one filled with everything you are now, that hug is real in another form. It's how you show up for your family. It's in how easily love moves through you now. It's in the restraint, tenderness, and awareness you carry. Those are embodied embraces. They count. There's also something important to release gently. He didn't deserve that hug because he lacked something. He deserved it because he earned the kind of son who would want to give it. That distinction matters. If it helps, you can carry this sentence with you. It fits your language, not mine. He didn't miss the love. He became the ground that holds it. And when the ache shows up, because it will, you don't have to argue with it or shrink it. Just recognize it as proof that the well is still active. Some love doesn't get closure, it gets circulation. And you're doing that faithfully, whether you realize it or not. And that's what I got on that. So, I guess let's sit with it, and I'll just kind of elaborate on that just a little bit. Well, not really elaborate on it, but really kind of talk about it, what it kind of means to me. And, you know, we miss stuff when we're alive, and even when we know it. I've found myself a lot of times when I'm reflecting or thinking about something that another person shared with me, some wisdom, knowledge, or something like that. I find myself in those kinds of moments realizing big truths, but sometimes I don't feel their depth the way that I want to. And sometimes, like I've said in here, when my dad was still alive and he was kind of asking me to do stuff, and one of the regrets that I have, which, you know, this helped me clear that grief up and feel a little bit better and more honest about who I was. Sometimes when people pass on, we focus too hard on the negatives, and it's us trying to heal. But sometimes in life, we recognize some of those things that we already kind of know we're going to regret, or we're going to have to heal from, or have grief for. And I noticed a few of those, and we're human beings, okay? Even if you know it, that doesn't make you a bad person. And I've had to learn, I've had to grow from that soil that I'm talking about and sharing with you right now. That's some of the hardest soil you're probably ever going to try to get through, is knowing you should have done something and you didn't do it. But again, we're human beings. We end up learning from these mistakes. That's a part of being human. That's a part of the experience out here. It's making those mistakes, but then learning from them genuinely. Sometimes you can hear wisdom. It's textbook, right? You're reading something from Plato, or you're hearing something from some spiritual wisdom or leader, and it just resonates with you, and you hear it, and you're like, man, I believe that. And it's like you want to show up and do just what it's saying, but sometimes it's hard. Sometimes you've only got so much energy, so much time. And for a person that maybe has given you everything, you're like, man, how can I not continually show up all the time? But don't forget about yourself too sometimes. You've only got limited energy, limited amounts of time, limited effort. You know what I mean? And that's valuable. And the people that love you recognize that. And sometimes it's hard for us, right? I've had it so hard to just say no sometimes to people that you love, to people that you feel like you owe something to, and maybe you do, but I'm sure that you're paying it back in many different ways. And those are the kind of lessons that I had to learn, sometimes the hard way, but not from like a bad heart or something like that. I had to learn those from a good heart, from good intentions, from really showing up and trying in many other ways. But I just couldn't show up in every single way. And that's a part of learning how to be human. That's a part of learning boundaries and preserving yourself and your energy and your own presence and your own, what you bring into the world, the love that you share with others. Sometimes when we just put ourselves out there too much, or we get too intertwined or entwined with other people's problems and trying to keep up with everybody else, we sometimes miss out on ourselves, the love that we need for ourselves, and the love that we can share with others too, especially the people that matter. I found myself at a young age trying to keep up with my friend circle, trying to keep up with sports team, trying to keep up with gaming and having some fun on the side, trying to go out, hang out, trying to keep up with school, right? You're all over the place. So by the time you're done giving yourself out to everything else, giving all your energy out to the rest of the world, what do you have left at the end of the day? Not much. Maybe some time you want to spend alone and to recharge and that kind of stuff. So keep in mind, you really want to keep the people that you love at the center of that. And I miss that lesson most of the time when my father was here. I was too busy trying to make him proud. I was too busy running around, being a little bit too much selfish. I wasn't figuring out who I was. I wasn't where I wanted to be. I felt like I was behind on a lot of my promises that I not only made myself, but to my family, even though I wasn't in hindsight, but I felt like that, trying to keep up with everything, all these distractions. The world, at least the world that we live in over here in the United States, it's run largely by capitalism, and a byproduct of that capitalism is, trying to keep up with things, trying to be productive. And where is there time to slow down when you're trying to do that? So you feel like your system, your nervous system is always in overdrive. You're always trying to keep up with things. So you miss things along the way. But yeah, so that's what I got on that. I'll say one more thing to cap all this up. Don't forget about your loved ones. They deserve your love and your energy. In my opinion, that should be where it starts. And it should start with you. Because if you don't have the energy in your own love, you can't possibly give that to other people, because then you'll have nothing left on the inside for yourself. And that makes it hard to love others if you can't even love yourself with your own energy. So remember that. If you had to make a hierarchy or something, and listen, this is an evolving voice of mine, so maybe one day I'll have to slightly modify this just a little bit. But I'm pretty certain of it right now that it should start with you, your own self-love, making sure you care about yourself first. And I know that sounds selfish at first, but it's how you preserve your energy. It's how you keep showing up. It's how you maintain your presence. It's how you give your love away. You can't give love away if you don't have it first. It's like trying to give money away that you don't have, right? Think about that. You've got no money and you're trying to give money to somebody else. You can't do that if you really think about it. So start with you. And then move on to the people that matter most to you in your life, not the people you think matter, or the people you want to impress, or anything like that. And you may want to impress your parents too, but you know what I'm saying by that. There's a difference between trying to impress the world and impressing the people that like really matter to you, and you want to show up. You want them to not think that they're wasting their time or energy on you or anything like that. There's a difference there for sure. But yeah, so then do your inner circle, and then whatever's left after that, then give that back to the world. You know, the world needs it too. I'm not suggesting that the world doesn't need love. The world certainly needs love. But if you're giving it all out there first, then you got nothing left for your family, you got nothing left for you either. So keep that in mind. All right, guys, I hope that this has been helpful. Please like, subscribe. Please leave some comments, and be respectful in the comments. I'm really busy trying to keep up with all this work. I have thoughts coming through me all the time. I've got these types of conversations that I'd love to share with you guys. And this basically takes all my time. I am soloing this whole thing. I hope one day enough people this reaches, before I'm old, that I can really collaborate with others and get other people on this, and we can all work together, and it'll take so much weight off my own shoulders. But that being said, since I'm soloing this and doing all this, I've got papers I want to share with you guys. I'm also doing the creation. I'm fine-tuning the videos. I'm chopping them up into short. That goes on and on and on. That's just a part of being a creator. But my point is, be respectful in the comments, and self-regulate in there. Help other people out, defend other people, protect them. We're going to be sharing some things, and naturally, when you've got love, sometimes it attracts the other forces too. People want to share or shed, or what am I trying to say here? Share hate on top of that. So let's do a good job of regulating that. This is going to be a good community, and I will do my best to help monitor that and help others, and be active in the chat and all that. But I'm very active with a lot of other stuff. I'm very close with my family, and I have my own small business too. So I'm keeping up with all of that and trying to do this on the side. So you can imagine it's really hard to do all that and to keep a community going. So just keep that in mind. But I love hearing from you guys. Please leave a comment if you feel so compelled to. Other than that, thanks for being here, guys. Really appreciate it. I love all you guys. Share your love with the world, but start with you and your loved ones first. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Thanks for being here.